welcome back to BookTube with Amy, feat Simon. Did you make that face because you hate when I say that?
Yeah.
So today we are going to be doing our first 100-page catch-up for
You
Love
Three
Me by Caroline Kepnes. We had planned to read this one on holiday together because when we read the very first one together, we read it while we were on holiday here in the exact same place. And that was before the days of BookTube. But we read the second one together and we caught up every 100 pages to see where we were sitting and whether or not we liked the book. So we decided to do the same with the third and I believe final.
One of the first books I reviewed.
It was, yes, when it was his channel, it was one of the first books he reviewed.
And then we did the second one together.
We did.
And it was great.
The second book was terrible.
Oh, but the review was brilliant.
The review was good, because obviously it was U2, and Simon decided to sneak in as many U2 song lyrics into the review as he possibly could without me noticing. And I didn't notice, although I knew something was happening. I just wasn't quite sure what was going on.
My biggest regret is that we didn't have a reaction cam for when you watched it back. You were fuming.
I know, I was quite sweary about that. It was because I knew, like, he was saying things that didn't seem like normal sentences Simon would say, but I didn't want to be like, what are you talking like a twat for? And like embarrass him. But then the embarrassment landed on me because you're an idiot. But we're not doing any practical jokes this time because we couldn't really think of any, to be honest.
You couldn't.
Very good. So we have both read up to page 103, up to chapter 13. What are your views so far?
So, it feels very much like the first book again, which I'm enjoying. Joe has started off trying to be a reformed character, and actually it's been a good chunk because he's almost just ended the part when he's gone back to being the original Joe. So that's positive because I enjoyed the first book much more. What I wanted to avoid was seeing just a repeat of the first plot though, and there's a lot of parallels, whether that's deliberate and it's going to do a bait and switch, or whether it's maybe just a bit derivative, I don't know yet, but you know, so far I think it's gearing up to be quite good.
I would agree. I also enjoyed the first book a lot more than I enjoyed the second book. The first one to me just felt more real, like you could meet this guy and this could actually happen to you, and that is where the terror lies for me. And I also just really loved that the first book Joe was so Joe, like, and he was just very like, this is me, love it or hate it, like I know I'm a bit of a ball bag but I do what I'm doing for love. Whereas I feel like the second book, it was so like out there. Like I feel like the second book tried to be far more crime fiction than it did like stalker. And so I didn't really enjoy that and I didn't buy into it as much. I feel like some of the choices that Joe was making in the second book weren't very Joe because he's meticulous, like, and they just felt daft, like he wouldn't do that.
Yeah, there's elements of the first book that happened to everybody, like a normal guy sort of meeting a normal girl with a normal annoying best friend and just all the kind of insidious behaviour. And the second one was all drug dealers and killing cops and millionaire families and all just...
It just felt very dramatic and very like...
On a movie set as well.
Yes, it didn't feel great. Whereas this one, I'm really enjoying the beginning. Same as you, it feels a lot more like the first book. It's just Joe meeting a lassie, loving her, obsessing on her, and like you get all his like internal thoughts analysing everything, which is something I really enjoyed for the first book that I felt was missing for the second, because the second book was so plot heavy. We didn't get all his like analytical, does this mean this, does that mean that, what if by wearing this she's meaning that, and like that's what I missed, whereas that is back in full force in this book, and that's something I know that we spoke about and you have enjoyed as well. But I'm the same as you. I didn't just want it to be rehashing the first book. Like, he's met this new lassie, he loves her, that's fine, and we're already falling into the pattern of him hating everybody who's run about her and wanting to just off them all. And if that happens, then it's going to be pretty boring. but I didn't really know what else I want to happen, like in its place, like, or what would be a logical progression for.
It's really windy around here, so if you can hear the wind.
He's slagging me off because the other night I didn't know that the train tracks were quite so close to where we're staying, and a big train went by, but I thought it was the wind, and it wasn't. And so every time a train goes by now, he's like, "Awfully windy, isn't it?"
How did you know it was a big train?
Well, because it sounded like a big train, didn't it?
You thought it sounded like the wind?
Anyway, I didn't really know what else could happen. Like, I didn't have many theories at this point as to what could potentially happen. I don't think that we know these new characters well enough yet. What about you?
Yeah, I can't think of another way for it to go necessarily. Obviously, Beck was oblivious to his behaviour. Love was not. So that's the kind of two in the circle, out the circle. I guess possibly he might just not win over this librarian.
Mary Kay.
Mary Kay, I was going to call her something else. Yeah, I thought maybe he just won't win her over. He just won't make that breakthrough. And like,
Oh, maybe.
he'll keep trying and he'll not get anywhere because he's never not got the woman.
Maybe that will happen and then he'll just end up killing her instead.
We'll see.
Yeah.
What do you think about Peach 2?
She is very annoying. What's her name? Melinda?
Melinda.
Melanda. So she is Mary Kay's best friend, and she is just like so annoying. She is like described as some sort of like uber feminist. You know, when like everything's just a bit derivative and, you know, a bit beneath her. And she thinks she's far more intelligent than anybody else. But like underneath it, she's a total prat.
I love her.
I don't know how you could.
She's just so psychotic. It's brilliant because it's so extreme. Like, woman says something, it's fine. He agrees, it's terrible. When she's just built to be hated. But I think she's like, this Mary Kay is so vanilla and not very interesting, actually. The daughter, not very interesting. The husband.
Interesting.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Well, we'll come back to him in a minute.
Okay.
But like, Melinda is just totally bonkers, which I think is fabulous.
I just really hate her. She's
and
very
I didn't
annoying.
expect the creepity whoop thing to happen.
No, I didn't either. Normally when like Caroline Kepnes is quite good at putting in situations where like Joe's about to get caught or something bad's going to happen to Joe, and then it always sort of just fizzles out, and you know, like the police are pulling him over but it's for his brake light, like, and so you always get these moments of panic, whereas in this time there was no build up to that moment of panic. Joe's like having a wee creep on Mary Kay with his binoculars, and then all of a sudden he's getting battered.
Ah! You just don't expect it.
You nearly broke my glasses, you absolute pillock.
You nearly spilled your tea, you absolute pillock.
God's sake, honestly.
See, plot twist. Keeps everyone engaged.
Right, thanks. So the husband then, you don't find him interesting?
Not really. He's just a bit of an oaf.
See, I do, like, I think he could be an interesting character because I think, like, Joe's obviously going to these addiction meetings because Mary Kay's husband's a heroin addict. He's also a rock star. Hence why I find him interesting, obviously. And
Try with me.
of course. And, you know, Joe's sort of striking up this friendship with him so that anytime... very Corey Taylor. So anytime he's like bitching to Joe or offloading about Mary Kay and Nomi the kid, like, are having a bit of event, Joe can then use that information to get a wee bit closer to Mary Kay and Nomi, which I think is interesting. But I think maybe the heroin addict rock star husband will maybe like understand a bit of Joe, like, and Joe maybe be able to open up to him about some of his darker stuff, like. maybe no, obviously, oh, he's not going to be like, oh, so I murder folk. But like maybe he'll start to allude to bits of his personality or whatever, talk to him about his addiction, you know, which is obviously murdering folk. And they could maybe form a wee bit of a friendship, I think.
Who was it that had the urge to murder people and called it like something? Like their friend or something like that.
You're talking about Dexter, his dark friend.
Yeah, it was Dexter. I do think the interplay with like him playing off the husband whose name escapes me, with the Philistines and Mary Kate Beth woman. Like I think being able to play them off against each other is interesting. Like he's an interesting plot device that I've yet to be personally enraptured by his character.
We will chat with you again when we have read another 100 pages and see how we're finding it. So, we've read the next 100 pages of You Love Me. What has been your thoughts?
I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying the sparring between Melinda and Joe as they try to... Well, she's trying to out-psych him. He's not really bothering trying to out-psych her. But it's been interesting watching that. Although I think that ended at the right time before it went on for too long. The inspector guy, bit of a pain in the bookie, not getting a lot out of that. Oliver, yeah. And I still think overall there's a large copy paste from book one, but it looks like Joe might not get the girl. And that is something we haven't seen him have to deal with before. So overall, enjoying it, looking forward to what happens next. Because when we do 100-page catch-ups, we always seem to manage to end on quite the cliffhanger.
We really do. It's pretty middle of the road for me. Like, I do feel like it's a lot more resembling book one. And so I am enjoying it more than I enjoyed book two, but there's no really been anything original or gripping for me as of yet. Melinda was annoying. Her scenes with Joe I just felt were a bit boring. Like, you know, we've saw Joe have people in the cage since book one. This isn't a new thing. He has never let anybody go. He's never going to let anybody go. And so this whole internal monologue of him, you know, should I let them go, should I not let them go, is there anything they could say that would make me let them go, I just think is a bit pointless and waste of page time. So I didn't really find that fascinating or enjoyable. The only bit that I probably am enjoying is exactly what you says, is that Mary Kay doesn't seem to be coming round to him. The lady is not for turning. And we've never had to see him deal with that, so I think that could be interesting. And I feel like before we saw Joe read into things with the girls he's fancied, like, and it's sort of been believable. Like Beck, you could believe that she was parading about and, like, you know, wearing this and wearing that to get his attention. Like, that was believable. We Love, like, she was just as mental, so you could 100% believe she was also doing the things to make him jealous and do this, do that. I don't see that with Mary Kay. Like, I feel like he's reading into things so much more than he ever has done before.
She doesn't play games.
Yeah, like, and there's a scene, he has installed cameras in her house, and so he is like, he refers to it as like his favourite show, because he just gets to put it on and watch.
Although I thought it was a funny wee thing when they said my favourite sitcom, You, and obviously it's not a show on Netflix.
Yeah, that was
so
funny.
I thought that was like a little wry wink.
But there's like a scene where she is looking at something on her phone and then she starts touching herself and he's like, that's my Instagram, I know what it is. Like, probably no though. Probably no. And like, I see him reading into things a lot more. Like, there's a time where she's having sex with her husband as well, and he's like, you've obviously pretended to finish because there's no way you would enjoy sex like that. It's like, right, I feel like this is quite a stretch for what I've seen before. So I think that could be interesting. But I'm finding a lot of the plot points convenient at this stage. Like this PI guy, Oliver, is just automatically Team Joe because he wants to fuck the loves and, you know, get money for Joe. So he's just like, aye, cool. Like, we can be a team and you can buy me artwork and antiques and stuff. And Joe's just like, aye, sound. And then, like, him just being able to conveniently get into their house to put the cameras everywhere. And then, like, they are, you know, Mary Kay and Phil's therapist, her office just being conveniently on the first floor that backs onto an alley so that Joe can try and sneakily listen to their sessions and stuff. It's just like...
You'd predicted the Miranda Phil.
Yes, I did. I thought that just based on the way Miranda was acting and based on some stuff that Mary Kay had said about their relationship, I could totally see that they were having an affair.
Do you ship Mary Kay and Joe?
No.
What about Mary Kay and Phil?
More so than Mary Kay and Joe. I think that they've both fucked up, and the thing is I think that they are both very immature, and so Mary Kay wants it to be some sort of, feel like, romance novel relationship, which is very far from what they have, and Phil wants it to be some sort of, feel like, rock star groupie relationship, which is also very far from what they have. And so I think that they have both just got dreams and idealisations as to what they want their relationship to be, and then they're so frustrated when the other person doesn't live up to it that they then do things that are, you know, hurting their marriage. But I think that there is feeling there, so I feel like if they were to actually deal with their issues and stop trying to make their marriage something that it isn't, like, and they stop trying to be people that they weren't, then they would maybe actually get somewhere. What about you? Do you ship Joe and Mary Kay?
A little bit.
But you didn't want them to get together because it's interesting?
She's obviously not happy with Phil, and Phil's cheated on her for a decade. So.
I mean, she's also cheated on Phil, so let's not pretend she hasn't.
Only 5 minutes. I feel like the thing's dead in the water already, so there's no point in it.
But she didn't know that he had cheated on her when she made the decision to cheat on him.
She said she knew.
Aye, but only to Phil, she didn't. When Phil was like, oh, how did you know it was obviously Miranda's fault? And she was just like, no, I knew. She was obviously just doing that, so Phil wasn't going to give Miranda shit.
I think it's some level. And if she doesn't know that her husband's been having her best friend bouncing on for a decade, then she's not paid a lot of attention, has she? So either way, it is gazumped. So I want them to finish because there's no point to them. And I don't know, I just feel like there's this tension with Joe that needs to be resolved, but it is going to be different to watch him have to deal with this when he doesn't just automatically get the girl. I think Miranda's suicide was not something I'd predicted, although you did.
Yeah, I just felt like Miranda wasn't the type of character that would just lay down and die. And I think that she was that stubborn that she would rather kill herself than have Joe kill her.
What do you think about the book sort of having this, we've got the kind of hardcore feminist approach, and then you've got this kind of insidious nice guy, so I deserve everything sort of attitude. There's an interesting conversation there that we haven't had in the other books about these different sort of contemporary attitudes that you see.
I think Caroline Kepnes is pushing the nice guy stereotype on Joe more heavily in this book, but I do feel like that's been touched on in previous books. Like he is 1,000% an incel. Like you can totally see that. You know, he has that attitude where if lassies aren't interested in him, then it's because they go for these chads, you know, and like total dickheads and blah blah blah.
About 5 million girlfriends.
He's got incel behaviour though. Like he's maybe a sexually active incel. I know that defeats the point, but like you get my point. Like you can imagine him on these forums, like and really buying into that. And you know, anybody who doesn't like him, it's an issue with him, and it's an issue with the other guys that they're weighing who they choose because they're choosing them over him. Like I think that is interesting. Like, and I think that it's good that Caroline Kepnes as a female author is putting that out there, because I don't think although sometimes you root for Joe, I don't think that anybody could read this and really believe that Joe is a nice guy. And so, like, you know, maybe if there is a male in your life who is constantly telling you how nice a guy he is, then maybe he isn't. You don't constantly tell me you're a nice guy. You're always going, oh, I'm such an arsehole. Oh, I'm a twat.
End of clip.
No, it's not. Because there's one thing that I hate in books that Caroline Kepnes is doing in this book. And that is when they nickname fannies. Right? We're grown-ups, we're reading a grown-up book, let's just use real-life terms for your bits. And see if you do want to say vagina, or clit, or vulva, dinna write about them, right? But so far, we haven't had clit, we've had lemon head. Lemon head, right? That's what Joe calls her clit. And then...
When do you ever read about a vulva in a book?
Well, we're obviously reading very different books. And then, instead of vagina, or, you know, many other words that could describe that, he calls it her Murakami. Yes, like the author. That fucking aggravates me, man. Really, really aggravates me, because you never get it in literature with male parts. Like, Joe's no like, oh, my fucking Charles Dickens. Okay, what I mean? It's, you know, he touched himself, he came, like, he gets grown-up words, but we can't use grown-up words for girl parts, because apparently when girls come, you know, that's something that's got to be secretive and hidden, like, and can't be spoken about using grown-up terms. Fucking really, really annoys me. Like, so annoys me. So annoys me. She fucking came, she touched herself, like, she doesn't fucking playing with her lemon head. Anyway, that's my rant.
Wait till you get your Valentine's card next year. It's just going to be a lemon.
Well, you'll be getting nothing for Valentine's Day. You don't use grown-up words. So we're up to page 300.
3.
What were your thoughts?
Dull.
Aye, it's a pretty poor 100 pages. Like, no a lot happens, and anything that does happen is so quickly resolved that it doesn't actually add any merit to the storyline.
Yeah, so Ivan, for example, what was the point?
I know.
He came in and he was dealt with within about 2 or 3 chapters, and there was no tangible impact of him having been in it at all.
No, sometimes to me it feels like Caroline Kepnes just wants to shoehorn in things to like be topical. Like, she obviously puts in a lot of references to music and TV shows and books in her novels, which we always quite enjoy. But I always feel like she tries to add in stuff like to mirror slightly the political climate, but then never really does enough to push it or add anything to the conversation. So Ivan was just shoehorned into this to basically make comments on Me Too, I felt like, which is a bit shit.
And even at that, what was the comment?
She didn't make any comment. She just was like, this happened. Like,
There's
and I
no
hate that.
suggestion, for example, that it wasn't fit for purpose, because probably this, I think we're supposed to believe that the allegations were true. There was no suggestion that he was falsely accused. You know, there was nothing that we learned from this. It just seemed like a convenient little thread.
Absolutely. Again, it's just another character being like pushed into a story to annoy Joe, basically. And like, well, I think, like, I get why she does that, because I think anybody who reads these books really like it when Joe's riled up and you're getting all his internal thoughts and he's being a total dick. Like, and they are the funniest, most interesting bits. So I get it. But also, like, this is the third book now, so like, we've had 3 books worth of this. Like, maybe you could find something else to give Joe that wee bit of internal trauma or turmoil, or like at least do something different. Like, bit pish. Bit pish. I think because the next 100 pages that we read are going to be the last 100 pages, we should make some snap judgments.
You may have told me
Predictions.
about this.
Well, they wouldn't have a snap then, would they?
Well, you've had time to think
I
about
haven't,
this.
I just decided it here.
A likely story.
So something interesting happened at the end of these 100 pages, which is Joe's ex-love sort of comes back on the scene a bit, which I'm pleased about, because like, she was the only thing that was saving it for me in book 2, to be honest. I really loved her as a character, so I'm glad she's coming back. I predict that love is going to kill Joe's new bird Mary Kay and her daughter Nomi, or she'll force Joe to do it.
Not we know me.
Aye, I think so. She's holding Joe's son over his head, and Joe has like had no relationship with his son so far, and so I reckon she might be like, have a relationship with your son, get back together with me, etc. if you murder them both. That's my prediction.
I predict that Joe will not die or be arrested.
Well, I mean, that's fair considering you sort of scoped out that there's going to be a 4th book. So, big whoop.
I think also Miranda's not well buried, and it's a bit annoying if there's just now a body dumped somewhere, not even buried, that's not discovered. And Oliver is a bit of a loose thread as well. So I think something has to happen with Oliver, or someone's got to discover Miranda.
Aye, that's fair. That makes sense. Well, we're talking about Miranda, something interesting that has sort of happened in this book is that every single one of her friends has turned against her, because there's been a rumour started that Joe, by the way, didn't start, that she had inappropriate sexual relations with a kid in her school because she's a teacher, and so everybody's just like...
I think she had the relationship because she's a teacher.
Well, no, like,
I don't think it's part of the job description.
I meant like it was one of her students because she is a teacher.
Right.
Like, and not just a student of life. So I thought that was quite interesting, and then obviously one of their friends came along and like was making it like he had been in chat with Miranda, and was all like, aye, you know, she did this, so she's just laying low. Like, I think that's a wee bit of a saving grace for Joe, because it's just reinforcing that she's not actually missing, that, you know, she's safe and well somewhere
Everything's
else.
been a saving grace for Joe. Like, he's had very little agency in this book.
That's true.
Compared to previous ones. Like, nothing. Miranda killed herself. Phil killed himself. Everything that has happened despite him, not because of him. The only thing that he's really instigated was this Me Too thing, and only because he actually found a pre-recorded video that he was able to post on Reddit.
That's true. Very convenient writing. We are both at an impasse as to whether we should read book 4. So we have agreed that we're going to wait till we finish this book to decide whether or no we're going to continue. So we'll catch up with you when we've got your final thoughts. So we have finished. You love me.
You love me not.
I didn't love it.
No, me either.
What were your thoughts on the last 100 pages of the book?
It's like she had maybe 5 or 6 ideas and didn't know which one to go with. So she just wrote a chapter on each idea. And then at the end of the chapter, it was totally inconsequential. She moved on to a different ending.
That's pretty fair. The last 100 pages were wild and like no in a good way. It just felt like it was getting more and more ridiculous. Again, like we have Joe in jeopardy, he's in danger at one point and somebody else just comes to save the day. So like there is absolutely no tension at this point when somebody goes against Joe, because you know either Joe's going to get out of it magically or somebody's going to come and save him. So there's just no drama there. So it doesn't add anything. And then like Love coming back into it literally lasted a chapter, which I was so disappointed about, because I thought, right, oh well, the book could turn for me here and could be something that's like really enjoyable and really interesting, but no, she just gets conveniently killed off. And then like the whole flip at the end where actually Joe this entire time has been chasing Mary Kay, is getting married to Mary Kay, thinks he's got like the perfect way life, and then Nomi is actually like, I thought you wanted me this whole time, and like, I want to live out my stepdad fantasy. And he's like, what? Absolutely not. It was just very bizarre to me. And then again, like, that flips 2 chapters for the end, and the chapters in this book are pretty short, like what, 5-6 pages each. So we maybe have 10 pages of finding out like everything that's happened with Nomi, and that like she is into Joe and thought that Joe was into her this entire time, like, and then having that be resolved is just absolutely ridiculous, I think.
Yeah, what do you think about Joe's character development? Because in this whole book, he tries to be a good guy and doesn't kill anybody.
No, he doesn't actually kill anybody, but I don't think that's character development. I feel like in this book he was a total victim of circumstance.
Yes, Joe didn't have any agency at all. It just all happened to him, and I think that was it. What's the point in having a psychopathic lead character if he just goes resist, 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 and then all these things happen to him anyway? It could have been anybody.
And I feel like as well, like, Joe only kills when he feels like he's pushed to a point where he needs to. Like in times where Joe has killed in the past, like I don't feel like he kills for pleasure, although he doesn't hate it, but I always feel like he feels like he's backed into a corner, and so it's like his fight or flight is just like kill. And I feel like everything that happened in this book, like he was never pushed far enough where he felt like he needed to do that. And so I don't also feel like, you know, he developed and that he has evolved and he's a good guy and he's surpassed this need. Like I just don't feel like anything was given the time to be explored properly that he felt like he had to. Like everything was pretty wrapped up sweet for him.
And it could have happened. Like he could have felt like he had to, when he did kind of say he's going to have to kill Melinda.
Yep.
Then he got pardoned from that. He might have had to fight Seamus to the death, but all of them were turned up. Mm-hmm. He might have had to do something with Love, but she shot herself in the head, yet he somehow survived a shot to the head. Yeah, it was all very disappointing.
Yeah. I rated it a 3-star.
Me too.
Which is exactly the same as what I rated the second one. Did you just hashtag me too?
That was our theme of the book.
The beginning of this, to me, I felt like maybe it was going to be better than the second one, and I was going to really enjoy it, but then it followed the same pattern as the second one for me, whereas it started strong, it hooked you by being a wee bit more like the first book, and then it just petered right off.
Hopefully book 4 will be better.
Oh, I know, we have agreed that we are going to read book 4, although I am loath to do so.
No, we agreed you were going to read book 4.
No, I'm not reading it if you're not reading it, because I don't even want to read it.
You can tell me if it's good.
No, we're reading it together or we're not reading it at all.
Right.
We have an extra copy of the book because we bought 2 so that we could read it together while we were on holiday. So we are going to go and donate a copy to a little free library that isn't too far away from the place that we're staying while we're on holiday. So you'll get to see that. We'll keep a copy for the shelf if we're going to get the 4th one. Aye, so we're going to donate a couple of books.